Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it's been a long weekend here, and actually 2 weeks for some of the teams in Swift Current. RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown, just one game left to go. The women's champion declared yesterday, and in a couple of hours we'll know who the men's champion is. And they started out with rocks in the rings, and I thought we might have a quiet end and I'd have some time to get things started, and then a little bit of a miscue. And Hebert just touched the rock on the way by. So Brad Jacobs might have a chance to set up for the deuce here in the opening end of play. Brad Jacobs, Kevin Cooey facing off in this men's championship final. My name is Shawn Joyce. Dave Schmel should be along shortly. Brad Jacobs was an A event qualifier, I believe. It's certainly the higher seed. Cooey came through the C, so they did not have to draw to the button for last rock. That was determined by the seeding. Jacobs has last rock here in the opening ends of play. We talked quickly about throwing up the guard, but they're going to play into the rings on the opposite side. You will see this a lot with the men play in particular, but you see it with the women as well. They'll take a risk-free chance at a deuce in the first end, but for the most part, the play is going to come into the rings. And now with the little miscue early in the end, the Cooey team going to have to try to get these two rocks closer together, see if they can't make a double later in the end and get back to a situation where they might be able to get a blank out of it. It is early. That helps. It was lead stones when Carrick Martin went by the Hebert stone. Tyler Tardy is the second, looking for the hit. Try to roll back towards the middle somewhere. Gets a little bit of a roll, not much. Still leaves the house well split. Brett Gallant now will try to hit that. Doesn't have much room to roll to the outside. Look to hit right on the nose, and might be high enough after that to make an attempt at the cross house double. Two ways to think about this one. You could make the attempt at the hit and roll all the way across, maybe get the double. I think Kevin also suggests you hit this right on the nose, and now to get into the rings, Brad Jacobs is going to have to roll towards his other stone. He might leave you a double that way. And they rolled just far enough that Brad could hit this on the nose, and he's good. I don't know who's crashing, but it's not me. Apologies for the slight technical issues there. Another attempt at the hit for Brett Gallant. Just wants to stay right. Well, that's a bad break for the Cooey team, because not only did he not make the double, but he didn't leave the Yellowstone in a position where Jacobs has to make a play on it. So he gets another chance to split the rings, and if you're going to try to get back to a double situation, you're starting over. So Mark Kennedy with the draw attempt, just looking to split the house. No double there. We're getting late in the end, too. If they're going to get back to a chance for a double before their last stone, they've got to get the big roll here pretty soon, I think. That's what Kevin Cooey's looking at. Make the hit, roll to the back 8 foot somewhere. When Jacobs hits it, you should have some kind of shot at a double. Unable to get the roll, so it'll be another chance for Mark Kennedy to simply hit this on the nose. Leave the house well split. So makes the hit, stays right there. Kevin Cooey looking at, do we try to go for the roll and split the house that way? Or if we nose it and Brad noses again, is it up high enough in the rings to try the long cross house double? And the reason you look at this, if you hit and roll to the center line, Brad hits and rolls back to the corner, it gets deeper both times and they're going to be dead across. So I think the decision was to try to hit it right on the nose, although he is playing this from the out-turn side, so he'd get the gear effect. If he wanted to try to roll towards the back of the 8 foot, it's a little easier with this turn. Swept that like they were hoping for the roll, but he hits close to the nose, only rolls maybe a rock and a half's worth. And if Brad is able to roll that far back to the outside, this is going to be too flat to try any kind of double. If he noses it, there's probably angle enough there for Kevin Cooey. Back and forth on the brush. They want to roll a bit to the outside, but they got to hold the rings. And he will. No double there, not even for Kevin Cooey. He'll look to hit this. Probably try to roll just far enough in to be shot rock. Make Brad Jacobs play it. Second thought here, he decides if they hit the other one, they can kind of use that yellow on the outside, at least to take away one turn. Brad would have to throw the in turn into it and roll all the way. Or yeah, he's not looking for the blank. You just have to hit it. You might be able to get a sliver behind the yellow and still be shot rock. You sure? Boy, that was a great job on the brush by Tyler Tardy. That just got by the Yellowstone. You rub that, go by the red. It's 3 out of nowhere here in the first end. Brushers have backed away from this a little bit. It's going to be deep, but it does come to rest. Back 4. A quick look around the outside. Aaron Sluchinski confirms it is 2 red. So Brad Jacobs start things off with a deuce here in this first end of the championship final. Kevin Cooey will have last rock in the second right after this break. Second end just underway. First stone brought into the top of the forefoot. The corner guard goes up. Now Ben Hebert will look to bring another one into the top of the rings. Wants to line these up, doesn't really want to get right down to a freeze. You gotta leave a little bit of room between them so there can't be like a hack weight hit to kill the back one and stay frozen. Kevin Cooey will ask Carrick Martin now to come around the corner guard. He's got the legs to get there. You'd like this deep enough to get completely buried. He's going to get a sliver in behind. Well, actually, it's a little over half. That's not bad. It's one of those shots, though, you don't mind being deep in the rings. It's more important to be dead buried because this is still in the free guards, or you're still in the free guard portion of the end. Brad Jacobs not likely to chase. I mean, he's thinking about it. They also talked about the guard, which is probably the more conventional call on a shot like this. They're going to play this as a really, really quiet chase, and the thought being is if we just feather tick the guard on the way by, we might not kill it. We can end up with the shooter in the rings. Big job on the scrub. They do get it by. It's enough to get the yellow through the back, and shooter rolls across now. Jacob sitting 3 in the middle, 2 in the 12-foot, and that 1 at the top 4. We deciding it's time to deal with the rocks in the middle. Tyler Tardy being asked to make a few red ones fly. Probably look for the double here and try to stay in front of one. Well, he moved two and spins up and across, but does leave two reds in the rings, one in the forefoot and one just tapped up to the 8, and it's behind the two Yellowstones. Gallant being asked to make the hit, roll across to the other side of the rings, and that's just so that he can clear the red and the 8-foot. They'd like to hold the shooter, and they will. It hangs on for a good bite of the 12-foot. That could matter. There's a double left on the other side. That's the kind of rock that could end up forcing Kevin Cooey. So if you're going to get forced, you may as well try to find a way to score 2. Tyler Tardy looking to lock a freeze on that red stone at the side of the 8-foot. Right on the face, you won't necessarily be second shot. That doesn't matter. There's a double available on the reds. The key here is to get a rock in a spot where Brad Jacobs can't get it out. Right on the face, maybe just a sliver to the inside corner. That's pretty good. Does create a problem for Brad Jacobs. It's hard to remove that stone. You could release it, but then you're not second shot anymore. Looks like that's what they're going to play anyway, though. Play the hack waiter. Kill the red, try to stay in front of the yellow. Kills the red, but he actually rolled off the yellow. That probably not what they had in mind. You can see Mark doesn't look happy. Kevin was stood back to look at the angle. So I think he's looking at how the red goes through the hole. You might, with just hack weight, be able to punch the red through the hole, but touch the yellow in behind the corner guard at the same time. Roll across the second red into the open. Put one behind the corner. You know he's going to hit the open one, but then you've got something to work with. He hasn't talked about touching the yellow, and I can't tell if it would touch it or not. Even if it doesn't, you know, you get the roll to the other side. That red stone in the forefoot is between the two yellows. That eliminates any chance at a double. It's all about getting your rocks in a position where Jacobs can't get them both in one shot. He's got a lot of rotation. That's going to straighten this rock out. Gets the hit, does touch it a little bit, not enough to get it in behind cover, but gets the shooter into a good spot. There you can see if the red one wasn't in the 4-foot, there'd be a double there. Brad wondering, can we make this yellow onto red and push the red into the yellow? The problem with that, I think, is that the yellow goes into the red on the side. Everything is lined up pretty well for Kevin Cooey right now. So talking about hitting the yellow, that's a little piece in behind the guard, coming across, nudging the red, and that's just about spreading the reds out. He doesn't want to leave a double. Mark wanting to see the angles himself. You saw Mark suggest they could hit the wide one, roll behind the one at the top of the 4-foot. What he's thinking there is that forces Kevin Cooey to make a play on the stone at the top of the 4-foot, and then maybe the yellows are close enough together to get a double. It's not all about what you can make at this level. It's what do you leave? And then when they make that, because they assume that everybody's going to make everything, which you have to do at this level, what does that leave us for the next one? They call it chess on ice for a reason. You're thinking 3 or 4 shots ahead. So they're sticking with the shot call that Brad had originally. Going to make the play on the stone that's just a sliver under the guard. Try to roll over, nudge the red. Didn't nudge it as far as they would have liked. That's probably left a double and roll back behind the corner guard. Big shot here for Aaron Sluchinski. You get the roll behind the corner, you're almost assured of a chance for your deuce. But he overcurls, hits it on the nose, doesn't get the second red out, and on top of that, he's left enough angle to go after the thin double on the yellows for Brad Jacobs if he wants to take it on. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. No, he's just going to play the hit and roll. That's not a bad call either. You could sit 2 and make it very difficult for Kevin Cooey. You've got to stay for second shot if you're playing that. So going to play this with quieter weight. He's still looking for about the same piece that he would need for the double. He can roll right onto the corner of the yellow if he makes it right. As long as he rolls past the red, even if he left a double, Kevin Cooey would have a hard time spreading out the yellow rocks. But he wants to roll right to the corner of that stone at the tee line, the yellow stone at the tee line in the 8-foot. Going to be a little thin. Going to be a lot thin. He didn't get the yellow out, and he goes through the hole and out the back. Well, and just like that, no longer is Kevin Cooey worried about necessarily getting 2. It's how do we save this for 3? can't leave a double. That's, and I mean, it's Brad Jacobs you're playing against. There's always going to be some kind of double. You've got to make it hard. Nose hit, the easiest double is probably, just because of the angle, is probably towards the one on the 12 foot, which is a lot of distance between them. You'd hit and roll to the center line or to the tee line, pardon me, on the other side. But if you're in the open, Brad hits and rolls behind the corner guard. That probably makes the toughest double, the shot that Kevin's looking at, but it's not easy to hit a rock in front of the tee line in the 4 foot, roll to the back of the tee line on the other side of the 4 foot. You got to be quiet weight and risk hitting it very thin. You saw how well that worked on the last shot for Brad Jacobs. Thin so you can roll deeper, and quiet so you don't roll very far. Double are we going after? It's still a little bit thin to go at the yellow in the 8 foot, but there's not a lot of distance between those stones. So you got a better chance of making sure you make contact, even if you saw him gesture, even if we spin out the top. We make the double, it's no worse than 2. Going to throw a little more weight this time. Brad Jacobs with his final, he does have the 2-point lead here as we play in the second, but without last rock and facing 3, needs the double. And they're already sweeping for curl. Well, they backed away. It's got to be close. Makes the double, stays right there. He'll force Kevin Cooey to make a play on that stone. A hit, stay would give Cooey the chance to pick up his deuce here, and we'd be even again after 2. Big shot here from Brad Jacobs, kind of makes up for the miscue on his first one. As the little bonus, he stays in the 8 foot. Forces Kevin Cooey to play it. Probably some leeway for Kevin on this one because that red on the outside edge of the 12 foot acts as a catcher. If you ever did hang out on this, it'd be hard to roll out. Final stone, second end. Kevin Cooey looking to tie things up here. He's got second shot on the other side of the house. Just needs the nose hit here. Will come down, make the nose, stays right there in the 8 foot, put 2 points on the board. Kevin Cooey's turn this time. We're all tied up at 2 points. Brad Jacobs once again with last rock in the third. You're watching the men's championship final of the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown live from Swift Current. Third end just underway here as we resume coverage. We've had a few technical issues here in this draw. Thank you for bearing with us.
Question is, Shawn, am I with you now?
You're kind of with us now. Dave Schmel has been the technical issue, if we're honest about it. Center guard throwing up to start this end, come around to the top of the 8-foot, and then Carrick Martin looking to, I assume, corner freeze that. It's a little heavy, comes to the back 12.
I was starting to worry, buddy. I thought you guys had put the Canadians only sign up.
Well, you've been able to see what's going on.
I have. It was a nice deuce there out of Kiwi. Jacobs came up with a nice shot there to avoid that being something big.
Yeah, there's a couple of swings there in that second end. It could have gone from a force to a 3, goes back to a deuce with a nice double. And that was the swing. All that swing was within 3 shots. There's been a couple of uncharacteristic misses in this game that's really honestly led to both deuces, and that's one of the things that happens in an event like this. You know, it's a long event. By the time these guys get here, these are top-notch, world-class players, but we talked about it yesterday during the women's final. I've had trainers tell me that, and I'm not paraphrasing, I'm not being, this is exactly what they've told me. I've had physical therapists tell me our sport is stupid because you ask your top players, your top performers, your best athletes to compete for upwards of 8 hours a day. Here they're playing 3 games on Championship Sunday, and it doesn't matter what kind of shape you're in. It doesn't matter how much you've trained. Everything hurts a little bit right now, and that means you're going to get the odd mistake.
And it's even worse because it's Championship Monday.
Yeah, Championship Monday. In this case, it was Sunday for the women.
Yeah, you think about it, it's about 6 miles up and down the ice for the front end playing 3 games. Combine that with the maximum effort brushing that these folks do.
Well, and the curling deliveries, that's another thing. I've had physical therapists when a team went in back when I was doing the training and that's such, and we'd start doing lunges or something like that. And of course, as curlers, we're used to getting that knee way out over the toe, which they don't panic about as much now as they used to, but they'd see us get into a lunge and it would be like, oh, stop that. What are you doing? But we're used to having our knee out there that far, and it's physically, the curling delivery's not the best thing for your body.
I find at the end of a long weekend, for me personally, getting my left slide leg out under me is probably the first thing that goes.
Yeah, I'm a tuck delivery guy myself, and guys always think it's the knee on the sliding leg that's the problem, and it's really not. When you play a lot of games, for myself anyway, I find it's the hack leg that gets you've driven out of the hacks so many times that leg just starts to feel tired, and you don't have a really good feel for how much you're pushing out anymore.
So now we see Brent Gallant is going to move some of these around. Hope to sneak underneath the corner if they could. Or just a straight draw.
Straight draw, I think, in this case. Ben Hebert down, back up, and brushing again.
They tucked that one back there nicely.
Continues to be Jacob sitting 2. There's a double available on the 2 in the middle. The risk, you hit it too thick, it might go onto the yellow at the back. Cooey wondering if they can make the triple. And it does look like you get all 3 of them moving for sure. The weight these guys could throw, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it goes out the front. You're losing your shooter if you play it. Looking at the thin double, the one at the top of the 12-foot onto the one that's buried. He's just showing Tyler Tardy how thin he has to hit it. Tyler wants to see it. And you'll see this a lot from some of these players that are such good hitters. They need to see the angle. The double's always there. It's just a question of where do you have to hit the first one, and it's never comfortable when you're hitting it that thin, but it is that thin if he's going to make the second one. It's probably worth giving it a go, because here's the thing. If you hit it that thin, and you hit it a little too thick and miss the second one, there's still a double on the other 2. You know, if the one on the 8-foot was open, there's a double there from that one over to the buried stone.
Mm-hmm.
So you give it a go. If you hit it a little too thick, miss the second one, you're still going to have another chance for a double. And these guys are good. You could make this shot.
These guys are good. That was a theme yesterday. So Martin all over this.
Yeah, he's a little thick.
And that's going to go over the top. They get just the one.
So now Jacobs knows there's a double there. That's what he's telling his teammates. So what do we do about it? You could play some kind of split off the stone in the 8-foot, but it's hard to put that stone in a better position. Just to be clear, he's never talking about playing the double. He's showing everybody else what coup he's going to play. So now where do we put the next rock? He's talking about freezing the one at the back 12. So conceding the double and still trying to make sure we get a deuce. That's the kind of split I was talking about. It's a tough shot because it's hard to get under the red that's buried. If you play the split and end up right into it, you definitely still leave a double. You might leave a triple. It's the best result if you could make it, because you could end up with 2 buried, and Kevin Cooey might have to go after the open one. It's his corner guard. He could play the run back double too.
Still doesn't seem to be sold on it here.
Changing the turn. It's easier to get under playing the other turn. I wonder if they're not playing to push the 8-foot stone in behind the corner guard now. Hard to come across it and roll steep enough to get underneath their own stone on the other side.
So now here's Gallant.
They're going for the push split.
Did they get it far enough over there, Shawn?
Not really. The nice thing about it, not really any doubles available. Kevin Cooey could try to hit the stone in the 4-foot roll under. The problem is he's still probably going to be no better than second shot. And he really doesn't want to play this end behind a corner guard either. Looking at the nose, we saw them do this in the first end. You get nose, and now you got enough angle to play the across house double. I don't think he's going to be looking to roll under here. If you hit nose on this, I don't think Jacobs could get under either. Looking at the run now.
Yeah, the run at least gives him a chance to use a few more angles.
Yeah.
Do you think you can just catch a sliver of that one in the top of the 8 and come to the one in the back?
Coming at it directly?
Yeah.
Maybe. Aaron seems to like the run. And I mean, you could do it with the run too.
Sure.
I didn't mind Kevin's idea, and I don't know whether whether the others understood it. It looked like he was playing the nose hit on the stone in the 4-foot. And if you hit it right on the nose, I don't think Jacobs could roll under cover because it would be too high. He couldn't get underneath the other stone.
So Sluchitsky on the run back. Oh, this one misses everything.
Does, but the guard wasn't helping you. It's still going to be doubles available. It's an embarrassment of riches, though, for Brad Jacobs. Where do we put the next stone? He's worried about the around the horn triple.
Oh, around the horn triple. That's not something you hear every Tuesday night in your beer league.
And if it is, it's probably not on purpose. It might have been on their own rocks. So he's going to guard the higher up of the stones. That's the only one that he's got a chance to get all three of them off. And it's play the double for sure, and then probably try to spin over there and set up another double. But it's legitimate concern that double would let him have a chance to do that.
So Hebert and Glenn working hard to drag this one up. And it is extremely high. Does cover the direct shot around the horn.
Yeah. Where are we at? He's got 3 stones left. I still don't mind the nose hit on the one in the 4-foot. We don't have a telestrator, so you all have to use your imagination. But if you hit that one right on the nose, I don't think Jacobs could hit it and roll behind the corner again. Well, if he hits it on the nose again, there's got to be angle for a double somewhere. It's up, climbs up in the house.
Martin trying to work this one. Hold it there. Get the hit. You'll stay just about right there. Shots down for Brad Jacobs.
Yeah, that's all they were looking to do, though. They had talked about that even before the last one. If they could get the exchange of hits, get that rock up 2 more rocks widths, there'd be angle for a double, and same type of thing. There actually could be enough angle to try the round horn triple going the other direction. Brad's going to ask Mark to try to roll just a little bit to the outside. Doesn't have a lot of room before that yellow at the back would be third shot. I don't think you can get them both and stay.
So less from Kennedy.
That's not what they had in mind. That's the plan B to roll over like that.
So do you leave the triple there for Cooey?
I mean, yes. The round the horns are never easy.
No.
You got to get to the top end of the second stone. But, the double's pretty easy for sure. The danger in trying the around the horn is, I think there's just enough room Boy, it's tough to tell. I need to be at ice level and get down there and check. Like if you hit that first red too thin, you could roll over the top of the second one and I think miss the second red altogether. There's a hole, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yes, there is, for sure.
And you got to flirt with that hole a little bit because to make the around the horn, you're catching the top half of the second stone. You're not trying to roll right into it as you would with most doubles. To decide where do we put the next rock so that we might still get a mistake and a chance at 3. They want to know how much of that red can Cooey hit. If they freeze the back one, is there a chance he gets them all? There might be. You could just split the house and take your deuce.
So thinking of freezing down the back here.
Yeah. Well, that's your only chance for 3. If you put this anywhere where it's open and an easy shot, Kevin's just going to hit it and give you 2. I don't know what he asked him there. I've often tried turning around to my opposition, asking, if I do this, what are you going to play? And they never answer you. I'm not sure if I believe them if they did, but it'd be nice. They should just tell the truth.
So Brad Jacobs trying to find a way to put up a crooked number here.
As long as he doesn't leave some kind of a double, he's going to have a chance for a crooked number. He's trying to find a way to get 3. The only chance he's got for some kind of a mistake out of Kevin Koo, if he locks this right on. You still don't expect, with the weight that Kevin can throw and as lively as these rocks are, you don't expect that he can't get this one out anyway. Curls past the nose, so that means definitely he can get it out.
Yeah, easily enough you hit that and remove it.
Yeah. Probably not even any point in discussing. Like, even if the angle was there, if you could see enough of that red stone to drive it this direction because it's frozen on that corner, the chances of getting both reds drastically reduced, even if it was enough of that red stone showing that he could make contact. So just make the hit on the one you know you can make go away. The way most of this end has gone, he's probably relieved that it's only going to be 2.
So here's Cooey trying to pick that up. No problem there. Eli shot the back. Be an open hit for Brad Jacobs for 2.
Stays where Brad has to play it. That's, it's a little thing, but it's not because he doesn't have a ton of room to roll. Anytime you can make your opposition hit something in the back of the house, it certainly reduces their margin for error.
So Brad Jacobs, final stone of the third. Trying to carve this over just a touch.
Sweeping for curl. What did I just say?
And it is going to roll out. It'll be a single point only for Brad Jacobs. He takes a 1 stone lead. Cooey has a hammer in 4 when we come back from Swift Current right after this. Welcome back to Swift Current. It's the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. Brought to you right here on Curling Stadium. Finally able to join you. I'm Dave Schmel. And Shawn Joyce, he's been here the whole time.
You mean just this game or like the whole Bonspiel? Because that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, you have had a lot of games. You have a couple, I think even a couple more than me. I think this is game 11 for me.
I think I did that many yesterday. Or maybe just feels like that.
But to your point, it was Brad Jacobs that had to make that hit in the back, and Cooey forced him to it and ended up only being a single.
Yeah, it's a big thing, all right? If Kevin hits just slightly off nose on that stone, a little bit more, rolls, he only had to roll a couple more inches. He wouldn't have been shot rock, and then Brad could just play the draw. Makes him hit that rock in the back of the rings, and he stayed, but he rolled just a little too far because there was that yellow stone when they tried the around the horn that stayed at the top of the 12. You don't expect full misses from any of these guys, but every once in a while you'll get a little bit of a half shot, and that was a case where Brad just rolled a little too far.
And when we get down to brass tacks like we are right now, that could be the difference in the game.
But in a Bonspiel format like this, you'll see those kinds of things a little bit more often in a final than you would, say, at a Brier or Scotties or World Championship. Typically in those events, you're only playing one game on the last day. This is the third game for both of these teams. And, not to make excuse for them or harp on it too much, but you're tired, you're sore. The execution level is not going to be quite the same as it has been. Historically, that's always been part of the challenge when you play in an event like this. You have to manage that. Same for both teams. They're both tired. They both played 3 games today.
So looking at the setup right here, Kevin Cooey.
This is the 6th stone, so he's looking at. He's got unlimited options now. We could peel guards even if we wanted to, but
looks like he's looking to just sneak around and move that red rock just a little bit. That's on the 4-foot.
I think just move it a little bit. I was wondering if he wasn't trying to chisel it and roll behind the corner. Both are good options.
Well, Aaron is on this one hard. Carrick's going to have to join him. They do just squeak past the guard. They get it. They move it back. Does leave it wide open, though.
Yeah, I think they were trying to hit that a little bit thinner and roll over towards the corner because he had enough weight to kill it.
Just a little bit more ice coming here for Gallant.
Yeah, tough spot here for Jacobs. You want to roll back to the middle, but you don't want to roll directly underneath that yellow. That would be actually to Cooey's advantage. So again, not playing with a lot of real estate on the roll. This might be rolling big.
It does roll big, and it rolls all the way out the other side.
That's not bad, actually, for Jacobs. It means that Cooey can't get back to the corner guard.
So you see him indicating to roll off to the wing here.
Yeah, probably wants to stay. Well, not necessarily. I was going to say probably wants to stay where he could be second shot, but that stone at the top of the 12 that's just biting the 8 foot is probably going to end up moved before this end is over. Hang on anywhere at the back 12. This has got a chance to end up on the scoreboard.
So from Tardy, they get minimal roll only.
Yeah.
And now Jacobs will look to duck back in.
Yeah. Another chance to get behind. This time, even if he's dead behind the yellow, there's going to be a little bit of space between them.
Hit and a beautiful roll.
Yeah, that's perfect. He's not quite dead lined up. So if Kevin makes this triple run back, which he's going to look at, he's probably got to spray all the coverage around.
Just look at how well managed this shot is.
Yeah, and not just the sweeping as well. Watch Brett Gallant as he jumped around the guards to be ready to sweep that roll if it was necessary. Now, it wasn't necessary, but it's a big thing to put yourself in a position to be ready to sweep.
So Sluchinski on the one, run it back, 2, 3. All the Reds go. It's only Cooey Stone left.
Yeah, but that's why it was important to get that a little bit past the dead jam, because the yellow spun out into the open after he made the run. Big shot here from Sluchinski. All the Reds out of play. The only rocks remaining are Cooey stones. Even if Jacobs got behind something, they'd have a stone of their own to run back. If they get behind off this one, it's going to be hit and roll behind the tee line. You'd see them draw.
So Kennedy's last. Hit and stick right there.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't know whether they were actually playing the roll there or not. You make the hit stay right there. You force Kevin into a decision. He's looking at the straight draw. And because if he was to hit and roll behind the guard, he'd be behind the tee line, then you freeze to it. So that stone in the 8 foot, at the very least for now, shrinks the scoring area.
Petro settles on down just outside the 4 foot, shot stone for Team Cooey.
Stopped just before it popped out the other side.
So Jacobs looking at running the guard.
He is. It's probably the only way he's got to get at shot stone. He does have to clear the red one on the side.
See a good look at the angles there. So I imagine you tried to push the shot rock out the right side of the overhead as we're looking at it.
Yeah, I don't know that it matters which way you go out. He'll have a firm idea in his mind before he gets in the hacks which way they're playing it. But it's the key, I think, is you got to be fairly thick on the second one, because you want your shooter, assuming that the shooter's rolling that way, to go over the top of the red stone if it has to. And, you know, the other thing is if you happen to run this back, so as we look at Mark, if you ran it back from left to right, caught the right side of that Yellowstone. There's also a chance it could jam on the Yellowstone at the back. So I'd like to think he's going to try to hit it the other way. The danger then is you hit it too thick, you might jam it in behind the corner guard. But again, with as hard as these guys throw and the striking bands as lively as they are, well, it just drives it by.
He did indeed, so.
See, they even catch the announcers. I was prepared to give him that he was going to make contact with it. It was where was everything going to fly, and it just drives it by.
Yeah, they just had to give it a few more licks. Doesn't take much from that far.
Yeah. Hard to hit this and not leave a double. I don't know whether Kevin's going to think about taking it on. You could freeze to that stone. You corner freeze to the inside of it. There's no double. But you got to lock it right on the corner.
You see him discussing the very long roll because he can probably hit it in such a way that he could jam up against his own.
Good. His first preference would be to hit that because then if the double is made back, he at least gets out of this with a blank. If you ever tried the draw and didn't get it quite right, left in the double and you got forced, you wouldn't be very happy with yourself. It's not a lot of ice, but even so, I don't think he's going to throw a lot of weight at this. You know, maybe like a normal at most. Control. It's a long roll. He's not just going to throw it with hack weight. You're not getting there with hack, but I don't think this is peel. Peel, there's danger. You hit this thick roll all the way across and out of play over top of that stone.
So you're going to get the roll. Now you need to jam on your own and stay there. Oh, and I think you did.
Boy, that was not very well managed down the ice. They actually swept for curl at the end and almost over curled it.
It does appear to be hanging on there in the very back.
Slash doubles available, but there's a lot of room between them. That reduces the margin for error on this shot. Saw Brad go and take a look. If you happen to hit this a little across the top, catch the one yellow that's biting the rings and then catch the other one. I think it's far enough out of the rings that off that run, it would still, the push stone would still be out of the rings after it made contact with the second one, unless it spins. And that's a possibility.
So Brad Jacobs with the very long slash.
Long for distance. Won't take long to get there because he's going to throw this hard.
Holding it, sending it over there, and you kill them both. Great shot by Brad Jacobs.
So close to a dead jam here, but that's, you know, the benefit of being able to throw the extra weight. You get a little bit of action. And even with hitting it as solid as he did, rolls out of the rings easily.
So now the blank is on the way. And completed. We're through 4. Cooey trails by 1. He'll have the hammer in 5 when we come back from Swift Current right to this. You're watching Curling Stadium. And we're back here in Swift Current. We see the crowd on hand there in the ice shed. They've been there all weekend long, both on the ice, in the lounge, upstairs. Been great support for this event the entire time. There's a big shot there for Brad Jacobs to force Cooey to the blank. Take another look at that.
Was always going to be tough for Kevin Cooey not to leave some kind of double, and he knew that. I mean, all of these guys, great hitters, but he left it as hard as he could, and Brad made it anyway.
So that means Cooey maintaining the hammer here in the fifth. They have one in, and a pair of centers now for Team Jacobs.
Yeah, they're likely looking to come down to the face of the Yellowstone on that one, not able to get by their own.
So Carr being asked to just place it in the rings here.
Split the house for now. No rule in this event about two blank ends, so you're not going to see Kevin really push for points here in fifth. If he gets forced to a blank here, he's fine with having last rock in the even ends. It would be interesting. Again, it keeps getting discussed, and not just on the air. I'm sure that there's a lot of people talking about it in their own local clubs, and good. That's exactly the point when you put a rule change in like that, where you're going to test it at a Grand Slam. This end wouldn't be called like this if you were playing at the Slam and you had to worry about a second blank and losing the hammer. Kevin Cooey would have had to throw a guard there.
Can't work that over to make contact. It just peels on off and out of play. And kicked off the sheet with some fortitude.
I don't think that's anything to do with that particular shot. Ben's just a little upset with himself not making the freeze.
Oh, yeah. So Tyler Tardy, he's had a great weekend here. Said before, with the addition of Sluchinski, Tardy just looks so much more comfortable there in the second roll. Dude just squeaked that one by. Have one under cover. And they lie 3 at the moment.
Yeah, it's probably not exactly the way they wanted to make it. I think they were thinking getting enough of a tap to leave a Christmas tree effect. That shot stone is fully accessible with room to roll slightly underneath. Brad's also looking at the run back.
Look at the one they do spin in front of the Cooey stone there. Cooey still lies 1-2.
Yeah, it's a better setup for Jacobs at the front of the house, though. It's hard for Cooey to do much with that red stone. He can try to pass it by everything, but then he's got to roll open, and that leaves shot rock exposed with the guard out there. Thinking about using the overlap, trying to come around wide on what would be the intern side for Tyler. There's a couple of problems that Kevin is seeing with hitting that red. You hit the red, roll over across your own, you're going to leave a double for sure and possibly a triple. You might leave your choice of doubles. Like there might be doubles both ways and a chance perhaps for a triple.
So I'm going to ask Tardy to wrap one underneath here.
Yeah, he's going to try to use that stagger situation to his own advantage.
See Martin on this pretty much the whole way. He had to hold the line. The weight was there. Just a touch behind the tee line here, Shawn.
It is, but how much risk do you want to take on if you're Brad Jacobs? Like you try to follow that down and there's a potential monster end sitting out there for Kevin Cooey.
He is going to take it on.
He's going to play it. You know, we kind of joke all the time, too, about lefty versus righty, and everybody's intern does seem to curl a little bit more. So, you know, Tyler Tardy gets a nice rock around there using the left-hander's intern well. The bad news, if you're Kevin Cooey, is it's another lefty throwing for the other team right after Tyler Tardy. He should be able to get the same kind of movement.
So the stone on the way from Kennedy.
Waiting on the line on this one. It's holding out there a little bit more.
Now trying to carve it over. Just looks to be really good, coming in nicely. May or may not be shot, but it's a pretty good outcome right now. Very close. I do believe it is still Cooey.
Looks like it to me. Now, I'd almost be shocked if either of those stones is still there at the end of the end, but it's opened up new possibilities with this play on the red, because now the double that he might have been worried about before, Brad Jacobs isn't playing any kind of double that's liable to jam into that pile. And if he makes the hit, clears the yellows, rolls over to the side, that one lone red stone sitting in the button area is going to be feeling awful lonely.
So here's the first one from Sluchinski.
He's got a lot of rotation here. Should help him get plenty of roll away from this situation.
Loses the Jacobs rock, and it is having separation anxiety at the moment.
Yeah, there's a double on the outside. That doesn't deal with the rock in the middle. That yellow stone splitting the center in the 8-foot is the one that Kevin Cooey can use to get that red stone off the top of the button. Hard to make any kind of double off of it. He's looking at just the hit and roll in behind the corner guard, or the off-center guard, I guess. Brad seems to think it's the Yellowstone that shot rock.
Well, we'll take his word for it. He's right there.
Yeah, I don't think he'd lie to us. He might lie to Kevin.
Hebert and Gallant and kick that by. Be right in front of their own. They lie second and third.
Benny using a little body English at the end just to make sure it got by. Don't know how much difference that makes, but he definitely tried it.
So I'm going to make the direct play on all these here.
Just on the one at the top 8 for now. Try to roll away from that situation. Again, it'll be sitting shot 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And
that's an awful lot of yellow.
Yeah, try to keep that red one feeling lonely. It can cause some nervousness for the Jacobs team. He's got to be real careful he doesn't leave a double. And the other thing, and Brad knows this, right? It's if this goes right to the end like this, Kevin Cooey could always come off one of those yellows at the side and get to that red stone, and it's for at least 2, depending what you do with any other stones you're putting in the meantime. Yeah, I'd be nervous about coming right down to it. He could come off the yellow, and if he gets right into the crotch of the 2 reds, they might both go. Put it there, he plays the slash to try to get rid of the 2 reds. Might lose a yellow in the process.
So ultimately, it looks like, you had to ask what your goal is now. How many are willing to give up?
Well, and you don't have complete control over that if you leave him a double. I didn't mind what Benny was just talking about. You come down, bite the corner of the 4-foot dead behind cover, let him pick out the shot stone, or the second shot stone. It still, for the time being, eliminates those 3 on the side. What I think Brett Gallant was talking about, you play a double on the 2 yellows, the top of the 8-foot on the side, rolls slightly to the inside. Now Kevin can't play the double because it jams on the other yellow stone. If you roll into the 8-foot at about the 1 o'clock position, or even, call it 1:30, make the double roll in just a little bit. Now that to play the double on the 2 reds that would be left there, you're jamming on that red at the back 8. Yeah, I don't think I like any kind of freeze on and then you're not looking at giving up any more than 2.
I'd be quite happy to give up 2 looking at this.
Well, yeah, you're counting on back-to-back doubles. This double, pretty makeable. You don't know what the next one's going to look like.
So here's Jacobs, double number 1. Kisses it. He probably shot rock now.
Yeah, he left a pretty makeable double back, although it might go into the red or the yellow at the side.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin doesn't have to play it yet either. That's what he's looking at. You could just come down to that red stone. have the double to play on the last one, and you make that freeze. What does Jacobs do with his next one? He's probably got to come off the red. If you don't do it here, Jacobs probably has to, so he doesn't leave the double. Jacobs will do it a lot quieter. That's the only difference.
So, turned into a big, complicated end here.
Well, it is, because if he makes the double now, you take a look at where his shooter's going to end up, because it's going to be, basically beside where that red is right now. You've got a little bit of a pocket. Brad Jacobs has a chance to perhaps draw into that and take the whole end away.
I want to take a moment to thank everyone who's watching on Curling Stadium and the Curling Zone YouTube channel right now.
His best bet might be, and he'll see this angle if it's there. It's hard to tell from an overhead shot, but if you hit the red that's in the open, come across, catch the second shot stone, if you could ever just touch the top of the yellow that's at the back of the button, push it back a bit, now that red probably goes all the way across the tee line and out over the top of the one on the other side. And there's no pocket when you move the one back, even if you lose it, as long as you only lose one. Your shooter's going to be behind cover. But again, for that shot to be a great result, it's got to move that yellow back of the tee line, even if you lose it, just so there's no pocket back there. He's not talking about what I'm talking about. He's talking about coming down to the face of the red and tap. Now he's talking about what I'm talking about. That's probably your best result if it's there, because you're not going to leave any kind of pocket. You'll spread the yellows out. Like I said, even if you lose the back one, your shooter's going to be in front of the tee line behind cover. He might not be looking at throwing big weight at it. Might be looking at trying to do this to make sure that he doesn't lose any of the yellows. So that stone that's in the button, the red stone in the button area, is probably going to stay on the other side of the forefoot if he plays it with quieter weight. And that's fine.
Certainly got to be some iteration of this shot.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what... definitely what he's looking at is... You saw him lining it up. Where does it come onto the red? And I think that's all about, can we touch the yellow so that we don't leave anything to freeze to? Doesn't want to lose the yellow, ideally, but you need to move it back probably a couple of feet. There's probably a few opinions there, too. That's one of the fun things about watching a curling game, is everybody's got their own idea about what could be played.
And each and every one of them are shooting at 100%.
They probably are. I've had that discussion with a few other people before, though, and in all seriousness, because everybody says, nobody ever misses a shot from behind the glass. And I know what they mean, but, part of that is, like a legitimate part of that is, when you're behind the glass, and this is one of the things that coaching has been so important with, your gut never enters into it. When you're out at ice level, there is always times when, I think I can make this shot. So you play something you maybe shouldn't have played. Or conversely, I don't feel good about this one. So the shot that maybe you should have made that particular day, just because you're not feeling it, you don't make it. Well, gut doesn't usually enter into the picture from behind the glass. That's how... I get
the feeling this is not the shot that Carrick won it. He left the conversation relatively early.
I think it's the right shot. The weight call is, it's... weight you want to play it with, but it's probably the right shot. It's the only way I see to get that red out of the way and not leave potentially a worse situation. You know, you make the double and leave the pocket. Brad freezes the pocket, and you're forced. And you got to make a good shot to get your single. And you know, again, there's probably a lot of people I know in that you always refer to the Tuesday night men's league. In the Tuesday night men's league, if you could leave them that little pocket to freeze to, you'd say, sure, go ahead. You can freeze to that pocket. If you freeze to it, so what? But that shot gets made here most of the time. So you're in trouble if you leave that.
First on the way from Cooey. Catches just a little bit. Direction to the side of it, kicks the Jacobs stone out.
That's all he was looking to do. That's why he threw the quieter weight. You saw that yellow got pushed back, so there's not really a pocket. The red stone is open. You could guard it, but that's tough. I don't think they'll even talk about a guard. So where do you put it where you don't leave any kind of a double? And you got to be second shot. Because really, the one at the side of the forefoot, the one at the back of the forefoot are pretty much even. So you're either second or you're fourth. And if you're fourth, it's still a shot for three.
Well, can you remove both those yellow stones around the outside? Looked like it might have been there from the long shot.
The guard's in the way. Wow, they're going to look at the guard. You might have to, just because I get the issue is, how do you get in for second shot without leaving a double? Even if you freeze that one, he's got the slash double. They're, I guess, hoping if you get it right there, he plays the slash double, and he's still probably only losing one rock. It's still probably for three, because he's not going to have to whip it. You guard, he's running the guard back for three.
Yeah, the guard does not seem like a optimal choice.
Well, it might be the best shot you got. Like, again, how do you get second shot without leaving a double? And if you can't answer that question, well, then maybe you have to throw the guard. You know what he's going to play, but he still has to make it. I guess the bad part of that, if you're Brad Jacobs, is you're pretty good at those shots yourself, and you can see how there's a way to do this where Kevin Cooey runs it back and the Reds clear everything. They're not going to touch a yellow stone. Pretty much have to be dead in line too. You can't worry about just guarding, for instance, guard the wide side, because if you don't get to dead in line, there's going to be a port for the out turn, and that's for four.
So Brad Jacobs deciding on the guard here.
To hold him for a shot for three. It's an uncomfortable guard he's throwing.
Coming on down, it's all about the line. You need to be dead on line. It is.
He needed this to stop. It's for four now.
It is way deep.
they jumped the sweep on that a little bit. I think they were worried. I mean, maybe it was a little tight out of his hand. They were worried about the line early. Never realized that it was as deep as it was. And of course, by coming in that deep, not only is it a shot for 4, but he's closed the gap between the Reds to where this is much easier. If you put that out on the AWS airbag logo, this is a much more precise run back just to make contact with the second stone. This is close to a nose hit now. Maybe a sliver high.
Hit it just that sliver high. But the run stone through that port. Other one goes straight out the door. And you score 4. Kevin Cooey. With his final stone of the 5th. Looking to make the run and stick. On it. Bang, bang. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kevin Cooey puts up the 4 and takes a 3-stone lead after 5. Jacobs will have the hammer when we come back in 6. You're watching Curling Stadium. Welcome back to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown in Swift Current. Huge shot in the 5th there for Kevin Cooey. See how that came on down? And away they all went.
Yeah, the mistake made when Brad Jacobs came in as deep as he did, it meant that it was just a slightly off-nose hit. He knew it. He knew it. His whole team knew it when they left it where they did. They, even when they were leaving the run back, they could see the path where all the Reds were going to go and not make contact with any of the yellows.
Need to get this guard across the line. They will, and they do have stacked corners.
Haven't seen that played as much this weekend as I have most of the year. It's been this particular weekend in particular. There's been more of the split house corners for a lot of the year, and actually the last couple of years with so much movement towards the middle. And I'm surprised that's why we didn't see it here. You hate to throw the 2 corners on opposite sides because you could end up with no path left to get to the button. And certainly with the amount of late movement there's been here in Swift Current, I'm surprised that everybody was so willing to throw corners on opposite sides, because that was the thing. You had to ride outside the edge of the forefoot for the longest time, and then at the end they just dove over. Well, if you've got guards in that path on both sides, how do you get to the button?
So now the Cooey Rocks got split on. Don't know if that's exactly the outcome they were looking for, but Jacobs is going to try to come on in there now.
Yeah, not like that. Anyway, they didn't want to roll to where they did with the stone that's behind the staggered corner guards. It's a rock they could actually freeze to the corner of it.
And that is the call for Gallant.
Yeah, I'd like to get right on the corner. This is not necessarily a straight draw. I mean, if you just dead bury, that's all right. It's going to have trouble making the house.
That is light all day. Wicks on the corner, rolls up towards the center.
And the peels can start now with a 3-point lead. It's just which one do you peel? Is there a double there somewhere? There's no easy, obvious double anyway. There are all kinds of rocks in the rings to jam on. Easiest one to peel is just the long corner, and I think that's what they're going to play.
Start up top and work their way back. Tyler Tardy Makes that peel, but does not oh, there goes his rock.
Yeah, he's going to leave a piece of the 12-foot covered. That actually helps Brad Jacobs. He's got 3 guards to work with now. Hard for Kevin to go after the one in the middle directly, too, because there's just too many rocks to jam on. Even if he played the double slash off the other red guard, that one's coming back into the house somewhere, and you just don't want to jam something into the rings. And that's why Brad's coming around the center line guard first. That he wants to make Kevin Cooey play the center line guard. So he's got more possibilities of mistakes off that center line guard. And even if he makes it, now you got 2 corners to work with too.
So Gallant's going to look to adjust his draw weight here.
Has to get 2 here. He'd love to get 3. He's got rocks to work with.
This one also needs to go. This one they've gotten all the way down, and it will come up just short, but pretty much to it.
Did peek out just a little bit into the open, so Aaron Slaczynski being asked to come down and red onto yellow. He just wants to release the back one so that you've got a way to get that red out. Doesn't care if he kills the back one.
Tardy walking it down. Right there. They do release that stone. Shot rock for the moment for Kevin Cooey. So I feel like you have to come right back there, don't you?
You could, yeah. You'd have to release it again, but here's the difference. Whereas Kevin Cooey doesn't mind killing his own stone, Brad Jacobs has to keep his own in the back somewhere, so they've got to play it a little bit more delicately if they play it. He doesn't necessarily have to release it. You'd like to. And the reason I say he doesn't necessarily have to is you've got the run back on the red corner guard right now. It goes onto the yellow in the corner of the 8-foot and comes across and kills that rock off the button. Now, he'd like to see an easier shot for 2 or 3 with his last one, but he's always got that. And he knows he's always got that. And I guarantee you he's already seen it.
So you see him reference for Kennedy there about back 8, back 12 weight.
Yeah, and that's where it makes this shot a little bit more difficult. If he's going to release the red, he's got to be ever so slightly off the nose one way or the other. The red's going to go straight back. He's got to leave the other 2 angled so that it can go by the red. He doesn't want to lose that red stone.
This one has that weight. Now I have to walk over the line a little bit. It's pretty close. It's right on down to it and gets just a little tap.
Yeah, didn't really release it enough. And I wonder, you can see about half of it. Could you just blast it? You might be able to. Blast it, that's what he's talking about now. Hit it thin. You catch the top of the yellow, it's coming back, killing the other red. You lose all the rocks out of the middle. But we're late enough in the end. You probably don't mind that either. Brad doesn't really have a lot of time to set up 3. He's only got 3 rocks left.
And Cooey's not absolutely heartbroken if he gives up a deuce here.
Yeah. No, but it's looking good for a force even at this point in time. The only thing that's holding him up on this is that you're almost making a shot for Brad here. He's got to do something with that yellow in the middle right now, and he doesn't have a direct way to get it out either.
There it goes from Sluchinski, and away they all go. 1, 2, 3 out the door from Sluchinski. You see there, a little bit of a speed bobble, but he put it together just fine.
Clips it thin, touches the yellow. You knew that back one was going to go. Brad might be calling for the hit and roll all the way across, and if he is, it's only because the port to get behind the corner guard now, because of the reverse stagger, is pretty tough for a draw. You can get there with the hit and roll all the way across.
So Kennedy, hit and long roll. There's your hit. Rolling right on over and right to it, and dead under cover. Beautiful execution right there.
It's a short run back.
Yeah, does QE play the run? Yeah.
It probably does. There's a little bit of risk about a jam, but I mean, unless you dead jam it on the yellow, which is a long ways away from making the shot he's playing, it's not the end of the world. If you catch the red on the inside in such a way that you're going to jam it on the red, or pardon me, on the yellow, when it's coming at that angle, there's going to be a lot of spin. It probably still spins out the back.
So Kevin Killiey with his first here in the sixth. Just makes a straight peel over the top. So Jacobs puts the broom down immediately to split the rings to make sure he can get two.
And then goes back to look to see, is there just, there's no way Kevin could hit and roll behind cover, is there? And there absolutely is, but I mean, you can't do anything about that.
I can't imagine anything else you could call right now.
No, not really.
So Jacobs here with his first. He's just looking to split the rings. Keep it nice and even. No doubles defense. Just want to make sure you don't leave any angle for Kevin.
I think it stopped in time. It's in danger or not for a minute, yeah.
It just stopped. And there is danger to play on that side. It could jam.
Yeah, this is the easiest way to get to the cover at the middle. I guess you can see all of the other stone, but you'd have to play into it to go the other way. This one you can play the flatter roll, step higher in the house.
So for Kiwi, the four-time Brier champion, His final of the sixth. Trying to carve this over. He'll get the hit. Not too much of a roll.
Yeah, not quite enough.
The open takeout for a deuce for Brad Jacobs.
Yeah, he did roll for shot, so Brad's got to hit it. Hoping not to have any kind of deja vu back to the third end.
Mm-hmm. Let the record state that you brought that up.
Well, he's got lots of room to roll if he overcurls this time. It's a broomside hit that would give him trouble. Actually, I guess it was the broomside hit the last time. It was the other turn.
Brad Jacobs. Final stow the sixth. Needs to hit and stick. Quiet wait. Just keeping it pretty clean. We're going to have no problem there. It's a deuce for Jacobs. He cuts the lead to 1. Cooey has a hammer in 7 when we come back from a swift current. Right after this, you're watching Curling Stadium. Welcome back to the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown here on Curling Stadium. Dave Schmel and Shawn Joyce here with you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Many of you joining us. I know some of you probably for the first time, so welcome. Glad to have you aboard. If you had a chance, please like the video, hit that little thumbs up, and subscribe to Curling Zone so you can get all the action. We strive to bring you as much as we possibly can of the highest quality we possibly can. And the more you guys watch, the more we can do. So thank you so much for your support. It was Brad Jacobs getting a deuce in 6. Kevin Cooey now with the hammer in 7, Shawn.
Yeah, for Cooey, again, he doesn't mind looking for a blank here, but he'll put some rocks in play. You know that Brad Jacobs is going to play hard for the steal. Brad's okay with a single point on the board either way. If he forces one here, at least he's got the hammer coming home, and a deuce would tie it. If you could ever get 3, you win. A blank is the end of the world for him, really. You need to steal. You're not likely to steal 2 points at a time, even with the 5 rock free guard zone, so you'd have to steal 8 and 9, and back-to-back steals is tough. So he's going to play aggressively here to try to make sure a point goes on the board either way. I wouldn't even be totally shocked if he decides, you know what, we're going to force you to 1, or the game's going to end right here. So this stone has to be good, because you know that Kevin Cooey can start peeling guards after this. You get a chance to put a good one in here, and then you probably throw a few guards, make him waste a few more rocks peeling, and then you'll get one more chance after this where you've only got 1 guard. Made a good one to start things off.
That is a very nice draw indeed. Very well managed when they had to do it. Now we're going to start with the center line guard.
Yeah, the long ones by themselves are never much of a guard. Now, the case to be made for peeling the long guard this time is because you've got the outside of the yellow if you peel the long guard, and that's a way to remove shot rock. Brad will look to put it back. And this could be an exchange of stones that goes on for a while. You'll see the guard go up. You'll see the peel. Guard, peel. Until... Boy, I'd have to think at least Brad's first one. He's actually got a pretty good one in there right now. He could guard this all the way through and just take his chances. The other side of that equation, though, is Kevin Cooey knows that, right? So at some point in time, if Brad Jacobs doesn't change the approach, Kevin might. So there's always that game of cat and mouse. You've heard us refer to it before. For myself, I find this part of the game very entertaining. It's really interesting to watch, because it's not just what you can make or what you leave. You got to worry about when does your opposition make the other move.
Right, and it's who takes that initiative, and by doing it takes it away from the other one.
And then do they make the shot when they play it? I mean, it's not going to be an open shot if Kevin Cooey, for instance, decides to make the first move. He's got room on the out-turn side, for instance. Well, out-turn for most of the players on the sheet. There's a couple of lefties that would be the in-turn, but he could get to the yellow in the forefoot on the out-turn and drive it onto shot stone. That long guard's too high to really take that away. Brad knows that. I don't think he can worry about it yet. I still think he needs the guard. And this is part of the reason why he's looking to get the guard a little wider as well, because if you line the guards up and Kevin ever plays that shot, you've got no way to get one buried because everything's in a line. That Yellowstone's going to be on the button. You're in trouble. You get this guard a little bit wider, and then even if Kevin switches gears, plays that shot, you can come around this guard to get to a good-sized piece of the button, still be buried. Would like some separation here. They'll get it deep enough, I think. I don't think he tries the double peel. He might. They're closer together than you would have liked, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He had to move the hoodie enough to hear.
Well, that's, how you know he's down to business.
He only took it off one ear. It's not completely off yet.
Oh, boy. Now it's off. Game on.
In the end, they decide to just peel the guard.
Take just a single peel there, so Jacobs he's going to go again.
There's a couple of things that just happened, though. You just had the conversation about playing that out-turn shot. And so now, in Brad's mind, more than likely, he knows we make this guard, he's playing that shot. Don't think you can do much about it. This has to be a good guard. It's got to be a little bit wider. It's got to be splitting center so that when he sticks that yellow onto the red, you could still come around the guard and be shot rock.
They're both standing straight up here.
Well, the last one was a little long. It's not uncommon for somebody to perhaps overcompensate. This is going to be deep. Trying to carve it a little bit. If he could overlap the yellow, he might get away with it. It took a little spin at the end.
It is really close to overlapping. I don't think you can take it directly on there.
Oh, boy.
I
think you can.
Oh, boy.
Just.
Indeed.
Well, and you know what? If you ever hit it right on the nose and lost the yellow one, that's not the end of the world either, because then he's got the shot rocks around it. He's got the little angle on the outside, and he's got the straight back again. But I think you could get it just by the yellow and clip out the shot stone. And then the only guard that Brad Jacobs has to work with is the really long one that's in front of two yellows staggered in the rings. It's pretty tough to bury anything on that. He does have to get just across the nose to miss the yellow, but it still looks like there is angle to just miss the yellow and clip the red.
So coming on down, this needs to curl up a good deal. It does clip the yellow on the way by.
It's not the end of the world for Cooey. He's got two ways to get at the red right now.
Gives him another bullet in the chamber.
Yep. Brad would love to freeze the inside corner of that yellow, and I think, I'm with him. I think you have to throw the out turn to do it. You just, by the time you're by that stone in the 12-foot with the in turn, you'd over curl.
So you see right there, get to the inside corner. You'd protect your shot rock from both angles of attack.
Just the one, actually. He's got to get to the inside. He's got to take away the run back on the one in the 12-foot. I mean, it's still probably going to be there, but it's too risky to play because if you ever hit it on the one Brad's about to throw, you'd kill the yellow and leave both reds there. He's always going to have the outside edge of that yellow onto the red, but if you get this one in a good position, he makes the yellow onto the red. You should be able to promote this one onto the one that Kevin promotes.
You see, both teams have been feeling like they're getting little bits of debris.
And they may be. On the other hand, it could just be that, we're 7 ends in here. There's been a lot of sweeping. It could be just getting a little bit flat in front of the hacks, and it doesn't feel good when they try to give it that little spin, get it ready to go. It's getting a little flat in front of the hacks.
So here's Jacobs.
Yeah, he's going to get by.
He is by the guard, no problem. Can he get all the way up to where he wants to be? Gets just a little rub on it. Makes his stone all the more accessible.
Yeah, I got to tell you, you're playing fast and loose with the phrase "no problem." That was tight by the guard.
I had never had a doubt. Oh, country mile. So if you're Cooey here, do you ever just kill both of these? Can you do that?
Well, you'd love to if you could. I'm just not sure that you can. The guard, it's a long guard, but it's in the way of any kind of full weight hit. Like you can probably get with hack weight through the port, red onto red and stuff it, but I think the red's still shot rock if you do that. And now the angle's no good on the. He's talking about peeling the guard. That's not a bad call either. Like what is Brad? He's probably guarding again though. That doesn't help you. So going to come through the port, red onto red. I don't think the second one's going very far, and the out turn yellow onto the red, it's going to be gone now because the red's going to be higher than the yellow. But you're going to have your shooter to run back. Again, quiet weight. Or possibly the one in the 12-foot. Because I think to make that port, it's going to be curling at the end. You're going to get just past the nose on the red. So your shooter should roll a little bit. You'd actually love it if you could roll your shooter into the same line as that yellow stone at the edge of the 12 or edge of the 4-foot, because then you would have the angle on the one you're about to throw. I just don't know if you get that much finish through the port. Maybe.
So here's Cooey. Needs to come across. Get them both moving. He leaves his shooter right there. Jacobs now lies 2.
He does. I mean, it's not a disaster.
No.
But it's not great either. He's got 2 runs, but you might be able to take both of them away with one guard. Now the question is the red stone at the top of the button. He can see probably a quarter of it. Is that enough to make the slash double? I think that's what Mark's trying to decide. He's getting down there to look at it. Like if he hit what he could see of that red, it's definitely going into the other red. Is there any chance it spins out? And Mark is trying to convince himself, I think as much as everybody else, that it was just dead stuff there. And if it does, then you guard the runs. it's not easy for him to score with the runs either. You got to consider that. Like, if he can't get the double, he's not scoring. Like, you just run it back onto the top one. The back one still scores. He can't run that one on the 12-foot back at the shot stone. It's hard to get at the other one. I don't know if he's got a shot for two, except perhaps for that quarter rock slash, if it goes.
That's a big if for sure.
Well, it is, but when you're down one here and a force is okay, do you want to leave him that shot and wait to find out? I mean, there's a chance he gives you a steal at two if he tries it, because he could just go by everything, or rub the first one.
So he's electing to guard the runs here.
The other thing is Kevin could elect to run the long red guard right back, nose hit the guard, clip the one at the top of the 8-foot, and that's maybe how the other way to double the reds. You hit that one on the 8-foot on the S3 logo side of it, and it's hard to do that directly. It's going to be impossible if this guard's in the right spot.
Trying to manage it right into the correct spot. And it settles pretty well. They
wanted it as long as possible because they're worried that Kevin runs something into that yellow, which, I mean, he still might do. It's just a little tougher when it's that much farther.
So, one-year shots to try to just throw that slash, catch that little sliver that you see sticking out there.
And hope it spins. And I don't know if it does. I mean, it's pretty thin. It might be. Yeah, I don't think the draw's there.
And the run on the one on the right, if I'm not mistaken, unless you lose the stone you promote, it's only going to be for one. Well, maybe two.
Well, yeah, to make it, he's got to hit it on the nose. He hit it on the nose, clip the side, clip about half a rock on the red, try to drive it into the pocket. So, I mean, it's for four. Potentially four. Three for sure. I'm a little surprised he didn't look harder at the little slash. There's 18 feet here between the rock he's trying to hit and the second rock he needs to hit fairly precisely.
So Kevin Cooey trying to run this all the way back on the one. It's going to slide on out. It's a steal one for Brad Jacobs. We are going to be all tied up. Cooey with the hammer coming home right after this. You're watching Curling Stadium. Welcome back to Swift Current, Saskatchewan. 8th end action, men's final, RBC, Dominion Securities, Western Showdown. I'm Dave Schmel. I'm joined by Shawn, Joyce, and we are so happy that all of you have joined us here on Curling Stadium. We have a tied up affair coming home. Jacobs just got the steal. It is 6-all. Cooey has the hammer here in the 8th end. And Shawn, that was really set up very patiently by Brad Jacobs there.
Well, it was, but I mean, he had to be, right? You can't really force the issue when you're trying to steal. You got to it doesn't really matter if you're sitting one at the start of the end. You've got to be sitting one at the end. You can't come into the house too early. You had to throw all those guards and let Cooey peel so that, when they did get to the end of that end where they were, the situation they were in, Cooey didn't have time to maneuver rocks around. He had to play, as it turns out, an 18-foot run back because it was last rock. He didn't have time to try to manipulate guards or change angles. And that's the thing. All these guys are so good. You have to take your chances, be patient, just let them waste a few rocks peeling guards, and then you have to make a good one when you have time, when you get the chance to do it, because you're not going to get a lot of chances yourself. And it's going to be the same thing here. He needs to steal one here.
It was that very, very long run attempt for Kevin Cooey, which was so close to making it.
Yeah, made it well enough that he's tied up going home. He's got last rock again, and it is tough to steal two ends in a row. One more look at it. Very close to making it. If anything, actually, they overswept. It needed to curl just a sliver more. Curls a sliver more, catches that yellow a little bit thinner, and then it goes into the pocket of the two reds. It needed to catch the one at the top of the forefoot first to get the double.
So Jacobs playing the tap back on the Cooey rock. Now the hits can begin.
Yeah, but that's probably the shot that Jacobs had to play. It's easier to do that than it is to try to come around both of those yellows. So you tap that to the back and you set something up for later. But again, the peels are going to start now, and you're only going to, when you get a chance later, you're only going to get one chance. And it's not going to be as good now.
That removed a couple of them for sure.
It does take away the outturn side. He's going to look to keep the guards somewhat in line here. You'd like to keep Kevin Cooey peeling the high one for now. Get this in line, let him peel the high one, and then you might, with the next high one, try to come just a little bit closer to center, because he's not going to play the over-the-top double peel when it's going to come back into the rings right now. He's got nothing else to work with at the end. They'll come around that yellow at the top, the 8-foot. Okay, got those nicely lined up. Probably not much Kevin can do other than just peel the long one.
Peels the long one. Do you think Brad puts one back in the same general area?
General area, maybe a sliver more towards the center line, because again, the double peel, if you're half a rock, just enough. If you're half a rock to go over the top, if you're just a little bit on the center line side of that and he has to go over the top to make the double peel, well, the second one's coming back into those yellows. And he might not want to risk stuffing one like that. So he's probably not playing the double peel, I would think. This discussion isn't about playing something else right now. I wouldn't think. It's about, okay, we're playing the guard here, but what's our ultimate goal? What are we throwing eventually? He does have, with the two that are there, the two reds on the side, he can come around those to the edge of the forefoot. It would leave a pretty short tap for Kevin in the middle. That's not a shot you'd play now. What they're talking about is if you play that in the last one, what are we leaving him? I don't think there's any chance they're not throwing the guard on this one.
Some more game planning, what we're going to do later.
I think so. I mean, they're taking a lot of time talking about it. So I'm not positive, but you come in now and that rock at the top of the 8 foot's not helping Kevin Cooey either. He's just going to run it back. So yeah, looks like they're just going to throw the guard for now. And I wouldn't be surprised if they threw 2 more guards. I don't think there's any chance Kevin Cooey's coming in first.
Cooey's ready for the battle. He has the hoodie up, keeping those ears warm for now. So here's the first from Kennedy.
So you might throw, I'm going to say maybe 2 more guards, let him peel both of those, then come to the back one. Let him play the run back. Even if he makes it, you come around the corners. And then because he's made the run back, that tap back is not as inviting. It's going to be a little bit longer.
Looks like just going for the straight peel.
Yeah, and I had to expect he was going to play this. I think you could throw 1 more guard and expect him to peel it 1 more time. Again, I don't think he's coming in first. Then you come around the stone. I'm just basing this off of all the shot options that they discussed. You come around the stone at the top of the 8 foot with Brad's first one. Come to the back 8 foot rock. Let him run the 8 foot stone back. And then you come around those 2 reds to the corner of the button. You'd be shot rock off that, and now because you played the run back on the yellow on the first one, he's got a much, if he wants to play the tap, it's a longer tap, or he's got to come around it to play the draw. The problem with going there now is Kevin probably just plays the slash yellow into it, and then the center line's open. It's an open draw. He's always going to have the button.
And you have to figure he's going to be able to find the 4 foot.
Yeah, you've got to be buried, so you've got to be on the edge of the 4 foot. He's going to have the whole button. I don't think you want to let him run that on an angle. I think if he's going to run that, you got to make him run it straight back, trying to pick out a rock in the back of the 4 foot or something.
So would you like to draw to the one in the back of the 8 now?
No, I'm guarding here. Let him peel the guard, and I'm coming around to that one of the. You don't even have to be all the way back to it. Be back 4 foot on Brad's first. Let him play the run. Then you come around the corner. And now at least your tap back's another rocks with. If he's going to play a tap back or if he's going to straight draw, he's got to go around that yellow at the top. Then it would only be biting the top 8. Half in the 12, half in the 8. The problem with playing this now, in my opinion, as I see it, Kevin Cooey's going to play the slash on the yellow at the top of the 8 foot. And then no matter how the rest of the end goes, he's going to have the button open for his last one.
So Jacobs asking Kennedy to come on in right now.
If you're going to come in now, you might even want to be back 4 foot. Get as much separation as you can. Hope that the slash is missed, and then, with your last one, you could actually come to the top of the 4 foot and create the same problem where he's got to come around it. But this is going to stay pretty high.
sits there on the tee line. Can't get it directly, but very accessible from the slash.
Yeah. You could play the double peels, try to get all three of them too. I probably wouldn't, but these guys make that shot so routinely that they might. I do not make that shot so routinely, but the slash looks pretty easy. It's quarter rock. You're not missing it. Half might even make contact. You don't really have to stay there. Maybe he likes that rock in the 8-foot. I don't myself. If I'm Kevin Cooey, I don't like that rock there. I want the open path to the button if I can get it. Rock in the way that I have to tap just complicates things.
So, Sluchinski. Martin trying to work it over. You just get the top one. So what do you see now, Shawn?
Well, I mean, if you're worried about the slash, which I am.
You could tap that stone and roll maybe a rock's width over, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to steal without a guard. I'm just wondering if you split center with a guard right now, what does Kevin Cooey do? Is he really going to try to run it through that port? If he just picks it clean, you can make a decision on the last one. If he hit that, I can't imagine he wouldn't play the double again. Looks like they decided they're going to play the guard on basically the same guard. Don't leave him the chance to get at shot stone directly. I think if you throw the center line guard, there's no chance he's playing that either. He might try to run it in. It's risky. Mind you, if you make it, the game's probably over.
So Brad Jacobs with his first. Just looking to put that guard back. Sells down and it stops very high, but in the way.
Might have left the double on the reds on the outside. Didn't cover any piece of that stone in the 12-foot. Mind you, if you're Brad Jacobs, you'd probably give him that because you've got a guard that's covering a little bit more of the 4-foot. If he makes that double, you could draw in. I'm never playing the tap. You make the tap, Brad's got the angle running on the red behind the one you're about to throw. That's a disaster. I like either the double or the slash, and the double's not without risk too, but
now the slash seems like a good idea just because you can remove the stone that's there and you're likely going to make sure that you have a draw path because Brad's going to have to play something else in.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. But I got to think the reason they're leaving that yellow there is they're comfortable tapping it or maybe promoting it with the last one. It certainly keeps Brad from trying to get anything in the button area because it's such a short run. But we're late enough in the end that you make the slash, you can't really put anything in the button area.
If the slash is made and even if everything spills, so what's Brad do? Freeze to the one in the back? Draw underneath over to the 4 foot?
Well, I'd draw to the edge of the 4 foot. Yeah, he'd put one back there and just, but Kevin would have the open draw, right?
Right.
He's even talking about a draw. There's no chance you're drawing on this one, I don't think. Boy, you draw with this one. Jacobs makes a nose hit double, and now you got to draw. Granted, you've just thrown it, but you've got to come around the one he's about to throw. I just don't think you want to be in the rings and in the 4 foot area and let him make that nose hit double.
I don't think I've seen them reference the slash once.
No. There's an angle on the guard if he wants to try the triple too, yeah. Some danger with that. I mean, if you ever tried to run it over the top, and I mean, you could always dead stuff it and make it better. But with the weight he's going to throw if he plays that you'd have to be a little bit unlucky.
Absolutely, if you make that, I would recommend that his next job be with NASA to help them get back to the moon.
Oh no, it's earlier in the end they'd play a shot like this all day. You play the peel across the top, have it come back into the rings, and if it clips the one out of the side of the 4 foot, great. Even if it misses the one in the top of the 4 foot and somehow managed to stuff on the one in the back of the 8, like a rock back that far is not going to hurt you. If you get rid of the guard and the one in the 12 foot, like what does Brad Jacobs do? If he's going to cover the one in the edge of the 4, you're still going to have a shot on the other side. If he's going to try to bring another one in that's any good, how does he not leave you a nose hit, roll to the button off that red that's going to be open on the side of the 4? So, you make contact with both guards. It's pretty hard to see anything real bad working out.
Talking again about the tap and also
He
talk about coming down to the red there.
Yeah, he was talking about the corner freeze, saying then no matter what Jacobs makes, he can play the tap even if he has to make it as a run back. You get shot rock drawing to the corner of that redstone, Brad's probably got to come around the yellow. The problem occurs if you don't get right on the corner, because Brad's still got the angle run on that red. That red is fully exposed in the 12 foot. So you just come into the button area, for instance, he can run onto it. Sit 2, and now your run back might not be as good, because if you can't roll out, a run back option where you don't necessarily have to stay because you got that rock at the back of the 8 foot, that's good. A run back option where you absolutely have to dead stick it, not as good. Thinking about peeling the guard because he likes his chances with whatever he's got left on the last one. You peel the guard, Brad probably has to put it back, and then you're making this same decision, but it's a shot for the win. And you still could play the slash at that point in time, although that would be a little riskier. Because there is a chance with the slash that you catch the red one thin, come back, clip the yellow at the back of the 8 foot, and everything rolls out. You do it on your first shot, that doesn't matter. He's going to play the guard, and it doesn't look to me like they're playing a straight peel. This looks like they're trying to get the triple on the reds, even if you just get the double.
So here's Cooey with his first. Taking a run at the guard here. Martin on it. Peel it. Shoots it just by the one on the top. Okay, Mr. Jacobs, your move.
Yeah. Benny's seeing the slash, and what he's saying is, there's always the chance he could slash it, kill his own. They're talking about hitting the yellow just because there's too many options off the yellow. But if you're going to hit the yellow, you got to roll a little bit because there's still a port to get at the red on the side of the forefoot. And once you hit the yellow, you're definitely not third shot. Make the double on the yellow straight back, and then if Kevin makes the port, he's got to stick it. It's a little tougher. Straight back double's no gimme either.
So you see Benny wants to remove that and just basically guard it and give Kevin the forefoot. He says, I've had my say, I'm going back to my end.
It's not the tap they're worried about, it's the slash.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the problem. As much as they know they want to take that away, they also know that to do it, they got to roll over, and they're opening up the center line for an open draw. I don't know what else you got, though. I mean, unless you could find a way to come in.
Could you draw underneath of the stone in the 8-foot?
That's what I'm looking at. I don't even know if you need to be underneath it. Like, if you're full 4-foot, just edge to edge with it, that might not be bad.
If you just hook it a little bit, on.
I don't even want to hook it, because then he's going to play the slash double.
Right.
But edge to edge with it, coming around from the wide intern, edge to edge, full 4-foot.
Wouldn't be
that's
bad.
An option. Wouldn't be bad. No.
So less stone from Jacobs here.
Made the double.
Made the double.
Which means if Kevin wants to come through the port, he's got to stick it. He's got to throw quieter weight, negotiate the port, or he can play the straight draw, try to get by the red that's the top of the 8. Doesn't have to throw a lot of weight to make the port either. He's just throwing, back 8-foot. They'll try to manage it down, and because he's never over curling that red one. He just needs to make contact with it, spill in towards the button area. But I'll tell you what, in my opinion, this is still a harder shot than he would have had to throw if he makes the slash at any point in this end. I'm really surprised they didn't talk about it.
So Kevin Cooey settles in. It's a final stone of the 8th end. Needs to sit shot at the end of this to win the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown.
It's got to curl. It's still on the red stone at the top of the 8-foot right now.
Martin trying to get it over. You had to curl all the way. You wicked. Does it stick? Oh, and it still does. And rubs in just right for Kevin Cooey.
The wiki-tiki win.
Absolutely. Take another look at this, Shawn.
Yeah, just a feather tick. The one time that a feather tick actually helps you, because if he goes by it, I don't think he's staying. You know, he might have made contact, but he's never staying if he gets clean by. Makes the little rub, picks up the win.
Check presentation for you right now. So there you see the RBC Dominion Securities check being presented to Team Cooey. For $13,000.
They can avoid knocking down all the signs, they'll be good. If I'm not mistaken, first event win for this lineup, so that'll really help them going into playdown season, even going into that next Grand Slam.
And it was a great week of competition on both sides, both the men's and women's, and it was great to be able to bring it all here on Curling Stadium, and we're so happy to have so many people join us this weekend. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We'll be with you throughout the season and hopefully far into the future. So from the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown, for Shawn, Joyce, Connor Sims, Jerry Gertz, and our entire Curling Zone team, I'm Dave Schmel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a pleasant day.